Hello everyone, welcome to A Clear Perspective. I'm Serene. From the end of Trump's presidency until now, the Sino-American conflict has been getting a lot of attention. During all of this, there has been one country whose importance has been overlooked by the media, Japan. Today, I would like to start by discussing the U.S.-Japan Summit that took place on Friday. According to Reuters, the two leaders addressed an array of geopolitical issues, including Taiwan, with Suga saying they reaffirmed the importance of peace and the stability of the Taiwan Strait. This is a slap at Beijing's increased military pressure on Taiwan. At a joint news conference, Biden said,
"We committed to working together to take on the challenges from China and on issues like the East China Sea, the South China Sea, as well as North Korea, to ensure a future of a free and open Indo-Pacific."
This Friday's summit involved many sensitive issues, thus drew lots of attention. This is the first time a foreign head of state has been invited to the White House since Biden took office. This highlights the primacy of the U.S.-Japan alliance. In addition, Japan announced that they are investing a minimum of $2 billion investment in 5G to counter the CCP-owned Huawei technologies. Last time the U.S. and Japan mentioned Taiwan in a joint statement was 52 years ago, in 1969. Since then, none of the joint statements or documents issued at the U.S.-Japan Summit made any references to Taiwan. But now, the situation is completely different. Everyone knows that Xi Jinping has put all of his political achievements on the line in order to achieve what he wants with Taiwan. Japan's stance is, of course, highly concerning. According to some media coverage prior to the summit, Japan's stance is said to be hesitant because the Japanese economy is very dependent on the Chinese Communist regime. In fact, Communist China has been Japan's largest trading partner for many years. This is the main reason why Japan and China have maintained a cold political attitude but strong economic relationship towards each other for years. Now Suga openly stated his position on the Taiwan Strait in a joint press conference. The Chinese Communist regime may soon retaliate in the form of economic sanctions. For a long time, Japan relied on the United States for security and China for the economy. It sought benefits from both sides. It was a strategy that struck a balance between China and the United States. Once the balance is broken, the CCP might target Japan's economic sector. When China and Japan established diplomatic relations in 1972, the most important element of the Japan-China joint communique was Japan's One China policy. According to Japan's One China policy, Japan-Taiwan relations can only be limited to non-political areas such as economy, trade, and culture. But if the U.S. and Japan formally take a stance on security in the Taiwan Strait, it will expand the relationship between Japan and Taiwan to politics and the military. This will be a major improvement to the relationship between Japan and Taiwan, and it is not difficult to imagine how the CCP will react. Another important point is the military. On January 12 of this year, the U.S. White House National Security Council released a classified Indo-Pacific Strategy Framework document 30 years ahead of schedule. The document revealed the Trump administration's strategic priorities in the Indo-Pacific region, which can be summarized into 3 points. First, deprive the Chinese Communist Party of air and sea control in the first island chain. Second, defend the countries in the first island chain, including Taiwan. Third, dominate all areas outside the first island chain. These 3 goals can be combined into one sentence. Never allow the CCP to get their hands on Taiwan and keep America and its allies dominant in the South China Sea. To achieve this goal, Japan's involvement is essential, as it is actually one of the most powerful military powers in the entire Indo-Pacific region after China and the United States. This brings us to an issue that is often overlooked by the public, which is that Japan is arguably one of the most underrated military powers in the world. As we all know, after World War II, as a defeated nation, Japan amended its constitution to stipulate that the military strategy was only for national defense, and the military was explicitly called the self-defense forces. However, as Japan's comprehensive national power grew, it passes the Peace and Security Act in 2016, which relaxed the terms of military assistance outside its territory and basically opened up the option of sending troops overseas. Even though Japan has been restricted in many aspects, Japanese military power has grown to a rather impressive level. Last year, the U.S. military website Global Firepower released the world's military power ranking. Japan ranked 5th, surpassing Britain, Germany, and France. I think, with regard to the situation in the Taiwan Strait, Japan's military power will achieve air and sea control within the first island chain, as mentioned earlier. There were multiple reasons for the U.S.-Japan alliance. The main reason for them to work together is to keep challenges from China, the East and the South China Sea, and North Korea at bay in order to ensure a free and open Indo-Pacific. Japan's own strong military potential combined with U.S. support would certainly be a formidable opponent for the CCP. That's why the CCP is so nervous about the U.S.-Japan Summit. After the 2+2 talks in mid-March, the U.S. and the Japanese foreign and the defense ministers emphasized the importance of peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait. There was only a meeting of ministerial officials, but the Chinese Communist Party almost lost control. They condemned the Japanese with disgraceful comments. A few days ago, Japan decided to discharge treated wastewater from Fukushima nuclear power plant into the Pacific Ocean, which almost instantly triggered attacks from the Chinese Communist Party. Meanwhile, the CCP's Ministry of Commerce announced on Thursday that China will closely assess the serious threat that may be posed to Japan's food safety and trade. The Japanese government explained that the wastewater is filtered and diluted to emit up to 22 trillion becquerels of liquid tritium per year. However, China Dayu Bay nuclear power site has an annual liquid tritium emission cap of 225 trillion becquerels, 10 times more than the emissions from Fukushima. So the answer is clear. The Chinese Communist Party is desperately attacking Fukushima's radioactive water discharge, not because of environmental concern, but to pave the way for the Commerce Department to sanction Japanese food and agricultural products. That's all for today. Lastly, we would like to remind our viewers again that our platform may be restricted on social media. We would like to recommend the YouMaker platform to everyone. Our videos are available on YouMaker. Please subscribe and we hope to see you there. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.